But let's start with the foundation coming from Koen Timmers. He's the founder and director of Take Action Global. It's a non-profit organization focusing on climate action education. And the man from Belgium, he knows what he's talking about, since he worked as a teacher himself during 25 years. Not just your regular teacher, but one of the best teachers in the world. And if you don't believe me, maybe it has more impact when I tell you that none other than Bill Gates selected Koen in 2018 as one of the 10 best teachers in the world. With TAG and his climate action project, Koen has already involved 4.5 million teachers and students around the globe. Everyone can make a difference, so Koen, we're all ears to be inspired. May I have a round of applause for Koen Timmers.
Hello. I was recently at a radio interview about my book, which is about climate education. And I tend to be quite nervous about those radio interviews, you know. But when I left the studio, I got quite a bunch of positive messages, basically. Except for one, from my karate teacher, who told me he didn't want to know me anymore. His best karate kick he gave me in decades. Apparently, he's one of the climate deniers. And, you know, the climate landscape is pretty broad, you know. There's no black and white. At one end, you may have people who primarily came to this conference to throw another bottle of soup at the Mona Lisa. And at the other spectrum of the climate landscape, we may have people like my karate teacher and people who are dumping a massive amount of messages on Twitter about the fact that climate change is a hoax. And in between, so many different perspectives and personas. People who don't care, people who don't know, people who do care, but primarily point towards industry. And I believe that most of you, maybe all of you, are really concerned about climate change. But the thing is that we need to get everyone at the same page. And I believe that we need to realize that we cannot only expect government to take action. I believe that we all have an individual responsibility as well. For that, a change of behavior is crucial. And for that, I believe climate education is a crucial component. Now, allow me to give you some good news. More than 80% of all teachers and parents are up for climate education. 80, that's a lot. And second, students appear to have a big influence on the parents. At school they learn, but at home they are educating their parents about how to have a more sustainable lifestyle. For me, the first sign that climate education reaches beyond the individual learner. And so, 7 years ago, I got an idea and I wanted to launch a new experiment called the Climate Action Project. My idea was, let's make sure to educate students globally about climate. Let's make sure to have teachers globally to teach about climate change. So I decided to create an online platform, bringing all of them together on a global scale, because the thing about climate change is that the causes for climate change are merely the same on every continent. But the effects can be very different. Like students in Florida, they may suffer from hurricanes. Students in Sierra Leone, they have floodings. And today and yesterday, they had floods in Nairobi as well. And students in Australia may have bushfires. How about uniting all of those students together and trying to get them to the stage in which they can take action and even come up with solutions as well? I wanted to do more, though. I wanted to empower them, to give them green skills as well. I wanted them to be creative, think critically. I wanted them to come up with potential solutions and work together on a global scale. I was quite impressed to see that what was happening, basically, there was a real buzz on two different levels. At one end, we had the students coming up with ideas, solutions. They took positive actions. Positive, that's really important, I think. But we also had the teachers. They were really working on activities, sharing insights with each other through the platform, and they were really amazed by the facts and by the level of their students' engagement, basically. Allow me to give you some examples. We had students in America crafting and drawing. We had students in Tunisia who created their own video games. Students in Belgium who invited the parents to the school to show them what they were working on. We had students, can we show the pictures maybe, please? We had students working on a garden on a rooftop in China. Virtual interactions with students in Kenya. We had students in Colombia who installed a school radio so they could broadcast about sustainability. And students in Portugal who created a mural so they could be reminded about their work and the project basically every day for the next years. I was quite pleased. Now, I read in literature that 3 elements are really key and need to be in the right balance to bring quality education and sustainability. Head, hands, and heart, meaning that we need to be knowledgeable, we need to make sure that emotions are involved, and we need to take action after that. Allow me to give you 2 examples. First of all, students knowing every little detail about climate change, but no emotions nor actions are involved. That's not going to work. They believe that technology is going to solve the matter. Second, students who are planting trees, but no knowledge about climate change, that's not going to work either. And frankly, that's more like, tree hugging, I would say. So let's not do that. Now, back to the project. The thing is that I shared guidelines with those teachers globally, and they had students of all ages. They were teaching all kinds of subjects. And it was really impressive to see that they all came with so very different outcomes, basically. We had students in Malawi who planted trees to save a lake called Chilwa. And their teacher told me that they planted 60 million trees. I was really flabbergasted by that. Students in Ireland, only aged 10, they noticed that the logo for recyclement is not consistent in Ireland. They created a new one, invited their Minister for Climate Change, and they managed to get this logo on every article which is recyclable in Ireland. They made national impact and received a letter from their president. Students and a teacher in Argentina, they noticed that you can create your own bioplastic with milk and vinegar. For me, that's just like, wow. Because everyone has those kind of resources at home, you know? Everybody is able to replicate. I like the fact that they were creating small Lego minifigures with that kind of plastic as well. But what I liked most is that the teachers shared this recipe online so that teachers from across the world were able to replicate this idea. A teacher, Ines, in Portugal, she made a solar light. The cost is just like $1, €1. But the thing is charging during daytime and is giving free light during nighttime. Frankly, between us and the Western world, this is just like a gadget which we can use in our garden, you know. But then magic happens. Somebody reached out to me and he told me, like, I'm TJ, I'm from LA, and I really like this project. How can I help? And then he mentioned that he is an actor playing the surgeon in Grey's Anatomy. And what he did is he brought 200 of those lights to the slums in Kenya. And what happened is that those students, they come up with an idea, they learn about climate change, they found a solution, and they helped people in a different country, in another country, with their solution. It's not only about fancy gadgets. We also had students in Sierra Leone, and during the project, they had floods. And the thing is that 2 of those students died during this project because of the floods. They made a very emotional video about this, which was shared online with all of the teachers and all of the students. That is how we bring emotions and empathy within the classroom. Because of the project, we also had some really extraordinary opportunities. Somebody from NASA reached out to me, Rick, and he said, like, let's have a chat. We would like to work with you. I still remember having a meeting with him in my living room, and I was thinking, like, man, he must be 10 times as smart as I am. But then he told me that he was in charge for the landing site on Mars. They sent a Perseverance rover to the landing site, and he offered that all of the students were able to share their message of hope and send it digitally to this Perseverance rover. It may be something stupid, you know, but for the students, this really matters. It empowers them to do more. It's something they will never forget, and which you cannot really replicate with a handbook. We also had people reaching out to us, sending a message of hope specifically made for those students. Prince William, Jane Goodall, David Attenborough, and several presidents as well. And this is how one of those messages sounded like.
But do you know what gives me the greatest hope? It's you, young people. Your actions are already making people sit up and listen. And the choices you make now and in the future are key to putting us back on the path to recovery.
I learned 3 things during this project. First, students can do so much more than yelling and going on a strike. Don't get me wrong, we cannot stop calling on governments. We need to continue doing that. But the students, they have the potential to bring change now. And so do you. Second, in case we want to bring quality education, climate education, we need to heavily invest in curriculum and teacher training. We need to invest in professional development and make sure that those teachers know how to do this. And I'm really pleased and looking forward to the debate and the panel after this, which is going to focus on climate education and the curriculum. And third, we made impact. I'm pretty sure about that. But did we change the students' behavior as well, and with them their mindset? What I learned about impact is that different kind of people are expecting a different kind of impact as well. Governments, they are keen on having many people involved, so the scale of the network was important to them. Teachers, they speak the language of pedagogy. Media, press, they are keen on stories of impact and anecdotes. But when I spoke with climate scientists, they speak the language of data, the amounts of carbon avoided, reduced, and removed. So I decided with them to create an algorithm and an app, which is free, which allows to calculate those amounts, basically, the impact of climate education in an app, and it shows the amounts of carbon. The app is called Earth Project, it's freely available, and it's basically showing actions everyone can take. Because what really struck me is when I was speaking with people who cared about climate change, that even them often don't know what they can do. Small actions, so that is the first thing you can do on the app. Find actions everyone can take, culturally relevant as well. Then it shows the amount of carbon you have been avoiding, reducing, or even removing. You can even do it in teams, so a few students or classrooms or offices can take a small challenge for a few weeks and see which team has been doing the biggest effort, basically. Now, I wonder, do you know 3 things you can do? 3 things you can do at home today or here at the conference. Let me go back. The good thing is that this app is also available for you. It's not only available for students and parents and teachers. You can use it as well. It's freely available. Feel free to give it a try. Now, I may have lost 1 friend because of this small experiment, this project. But I gained a whole network of teachers and students who are willing to go forward. They are on one mission. And despite the fact that they are living in different countries with different cultures, habits, languages, time zones, they are taking action and they are even becoming friends. So I'm really pleased to know that climate education has the potential to strengthen people. And with that, I'm really happy and I'm really looking forward and hoping with all my heart, basically, that we can kick climate action education into curricula. Thank you.